Welcome to Childcare Rockstar Radio. I am your host, Chris Murray. Childcare leaders around the globe are breaking through challenges, leading the way in innovation, testing new best practices, and impacting children and families in a much more powerful and positive way than ever before. Each week, join me for interviews with early childhood leaders and experts that will leave you inspired to become the next childcare rockstar. Now, let's go. Welcome to episode 113 of Childcare Rockstar Radio, featuring Mike Capuzzi. Welcome back to the podcast, folks. This is Chris Murray, your host, and I'm thrilled that you're here with me today. Today's episode is all about the power of becoming a published author. It is a subject near and dear to my heart because I am the author of 4 books and the co-author of a 5th. And books changed my life. I have shared with folks before that there are 3 events that have most changed me as a person. One of them is becoming a mom. The second one is starting my own company and then driving it forward to become a successful multi-million-dollar company. And the third is becoming an author, which very first happened in 2012 with my first book, The Ultimate Childcare Marketing Guide. And this is a cover of the book. I don't have the book with me. It's at my home office. But here's the back cover. And this book, which was lovingly put into a glass frame by my publisher, Red Leaf Press, was one of the biggest game changers for me back in 2012. I started writing the book in 2010, and it took over a year, the fall of 2010, and it wasn't until January of 2012, about 14 months, to get the book created from beginning to end and actually to fruition. And holding it in my hand for the very first time felt like I was holding my 3rd child. It was that much work, sweat, blood, and tears that went into it. But it was amazing. And it was wonderful to have a publisher and work with a publishing house that knew childcare, and shout out to Red Leaf Press and all the support and resources that they gave me for that process. And that book, my very first book, opened up so many doors for me as a business owner and new author. I took that book with me to the National Childcare Association's annual conference in March 2012 in Las Vegas. And I did a whole pre-conference workshop. And I was there in a big way with a big spinny wheel and giving out prizes and signing books. And I had so much business coming to me as a result of being a book author and putting my process into words and into what has become kind of an industry Bible, if you will, for how to get fully enrolled and how to basically systematize your marketing processes and your enrollment processes, how to track, what to track, how often to track, how to build a list, how to leverage the list, how to get fully enrolled using a proven method that I teach in that book. And so then I wanted to go do a second book. A couple years later, 2014, I wanted a book that I could self-publish that would be available on Amazon for less money so that I could reach more people who might be willing to give me $5.99 for a book instead of paying the $24.99 that the Red Leaf Press book cost. And so I wanted to have a quicker, more easy, more business card style book that I could hand out to people and they could get a really good, quick read and tips on my philosophy and what I could teach them. And so I created this book, which is the 77 best strategies to grow your early childhood program. And I still offer this book today for free, plus a small shipping fee. And you can go ahead and claim that. If you don't have this book in your library, and it is chock full of tips and success strategies of people using the tips. And so many people have grown their enrollment by 10, 20, 30, 40 kids, which is hundreds of thousands of dollars to your center, from this $6 book. So this is the best bargain I can bring to you other than this free podcast. My hope is if you grab this book, you'll love it and get so much content and results from using it and putting it into practice, you'll want to work with me as your coach. So that is the strategy behind all these books, is that you really want to give people, and you guys can use this exact same strategy. And in today's podcast with my friend Mike Capuzzi, we're going to show you how to do that. Giving them a taste of you and what you can do to help their family and their child be successful on their learning journey, and giving great care, great kindergarten readiness, and a high quality preschool environment. That's what it's about. So getting people to understand you and to know your story and have a connection with you through your book, through your authored book. So that book really propelled me even further to being able to reach the masses with a free book offer and get it into the hands of hundreds and thousands of people. And that book is available at childcaresuccess.com/Chris Murray book. childcaresuccess.com/Chris Murray book. And so you can go there and see that page and see how I've laid it out and my free offer there, free plus shipping, and how that works for me. And you could feel free to model that too for your own business. And then, but wait, there's more. My team came up with an amazing idea, which is to leverage this podcast right here that you're listening to, get it transcribed, and then shorten it down to a juicy and curated Q&A experience inside of a book. And so you're reading a Q&A with me and all of my guests. And I've got 2 versions of that now because my second volume of Rockstar Stories just released, hot off the presses, available at Amazon.com. And volume 1 of the same name. So volume 1, volume 2. And these are quite thick and meaty. My goodness. So much content in here. So what's cool about this is that I've heard from dozens, if not hundreds of you about how much content and nuggets you're getting from this podcast. And so then putting it into book form and then reading people's stories and being able to get to know people. And then you can sit down, or at bedtime, you can read through this with a highlighter and go through it and really then cement the concepts. Because if you have it in print, then you can have it and go back to it time and time again. So taking the audio and video of the podcast and then turning it into a written book experience, and then also making celebrities out of my guests. So they're all featured in here with their stories too. So that's books 3 and 4. And then book 5 that I co-authored with Mr. Brian Dupre, Coach Brian from Maine. We love him. He's been featured here on the podcast many times, was on my team. And we together wrote the Happiness Guide for Early Childhood Educators. So this is really a teacher and leadership book, but it's really for the teachers to help them with their mindsets and their growth and their self-development and how they feel about themselves as teachers, and loving on them and giving them great success tips for their own personal development inside of this book. So I'm very, very proud, and I love this one, perhaps most of all, because it's for the teachers. So these are all part of the Chris Murray Library. You can see them branded there. And then 2 of my team members also wrote books because they were loving the idea of authorship so much that both Cindy and Brian wrote books in the Chris Murray Library as well. And so that concept, guys, that success strategy of becoming an influencer by writing books, which is unlike any other media you could create. Of course, you can have a parent newsletter, and even you could create a magazine, and you can be inside of media, inside of your markets. You could be in the parenting magazine. You can have a podcast. You could do webinars. You could do parent events at night. You can do seminars in your school. You could become a speaker for your local association in your state or your region. There's so many things that you as a childcare owner or leader can be doing to raise your game as an influencer and a content creator, and also just to help serve. And that will translate into business if done well, right? If you're bringing a great message with great value and great content and solving problems and pain points, you're going to gain business from it if you market it right. And so that's what we do. We help you create this content, create a book, and help you market it. So you're going to learn all about that. And whether or not you care about becoming an author, you're still going to get amazing tips in this podcast with my guest, Mike Capuzzi. We talk about direct response marketing versus branded marketing and advertising, and what does that mean, and how can you utilize it for your business, and so much more. So stay tuned. Right now, we're going to flow directly into this episode. I can't wait to bring it to you. So let's jump right in. It's full of amazing content and golden nuggets. Have fun with myself and Mike Capuzzi here at episode 113 of Childcare Rockstar Radio. Welcome to the podcast, everybody. I am excited to have you here and excited to have you meet my friend Mike Capuzzi. Mike is an expert in marketing of all different areas and especially books. And I'm excited to dive in. Mike, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, Chris. Thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome. Where are you right now?
I am in warm, sunny Pennsylvania. I say warm because it shouldn't be warm, but it is warm. So we're right outside Philadelphia in the suburbs.
All right. Well, I'm sorry it's not more fall-like for you there. So the leaves aren't turning yet?
They are, but we don't have snow like you have. So we would prefer snow.
Well, I'm psyched to have you here on the podcast, Mike. You and I we were just talking before we hit the record button about how long we've known each other, which is actually with us not knowing we were in the same room back in 2006 at that conference that we were both at. But that's 15 years of doing related work in the same circles. And now we're working together collaboratively for the childcare industry. So pretty cool stuff.
It is. And Chris, as you know, we've known each other for over 10 years, and I've seen what you've built. And I tell a lot of people, it's amazing what you've built, how you're serving so many childcare center owner operators. I think it's awesome. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah. And we were both just together in Vegas at the Childcare Success Summit 2021, the 10th annual show. Had a blast together there. So just tell us a little bit more about what you do and how you are actually also currently serving the childcare industry.
Yeah, well, fortunately, you've given me that opportunity. So again, thank you. But Chris, I'm a seasoned veteran. I've been my own business since 1998. Before that, I was in corporate America. Before that, I did engineering for a number of years. I have an engineering degree from Penn State. So I've had this very interesting journey. But for the last 20 some odd years, I've been serving business owners around the world, literally thousands of them at different levels. I really have a focus primarily now with more Main Street type business owners, more local, small and medium sized, though I do serve folks like yourself that have more of a global presence. But, as you and I both are fans, we do direct response marketing. That's what we help our clients implement. That's what we help with the books that we create now. So it's really about a proven methodology for marketing known as direct response. And I'd say for the last 10 years, I've been helping clients publish books very quietly. It was just sort of a background thing we did. And then in 2018, I got a lot more serious. We've kind of created our own unique type of book, which we'll talk about, and really just helping a lot of local business owners tap into the power of being a book author.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So to give the folks a little bit more information about direct response and what sets it apart, for those that don't know, I kind of, Mike, put it into two categories. Advertising can either be direct response or it can be kind of branding, branded ads. In your mind, what are the things that really set direct response apart? Like what constitutes a direct response ad?
Yeah, it's a great question. So right off the top of my head, Chris, two things. One, it is designed to elicit a response, right? Hence direct response. Most common advertising and marketing doesn't do that. It just kind of blasts it out there, and you never know, how if someone really is interested or not. So its main goal is to create a response, online, offline, in person, whatever. The second thing, because it does that, then it's measurable, right? It's trackable. So again, for marketers like you and I, it's important. I mean, right before we hit the record button, we were talking about some data and trying to, measure results. And that's a key differentiator with direct response marketing, is that it's measurable. And if it's measurable, the good news is you can adjust when needed. You can pour more fuel into the fire if it's going well, maybe divert if it's not. So I would say those are two big reasons that it's different than traditional brand style marketing.
Love that. And also the use of calls to action and offers. And so that's something that, for those of you that have worked with me, you know that I love great offers. One of the quotables is from our mentors is, it's all about the offer. Or I've heard it said, it's about the offer, stupid.
Yeah.
It's like that. Like, hello, look at your offer. Like if your marketing is powering up the response, it's really a great offer, typically in a great call to action. If it's flat, then let's go back and look at the offer and try to make it more powerful. So I love that. And thanks for kind of that direct response 101 training.
Well, and just to add to that, Chris, if you don't mind, I mean, because it is a teachable moment, right?
Yeah.
Like, people are engaging, and we're going to talk about this relative to the kind of books we publish. If people are engaging with your advertising, your marketing, by default, they're going to want more from you. They want more information. They want the next step. And if you don't make that offer for them to get that next thing, then shame on you. It's your job as the marketer, as the business owner, to provide that. It's not their job to go hunting and looking for it.
Yeah. Love that. Really, really good. So I love the work that you're doing for Main Street businesses, just like our childcare clients, owners of brick and mortar, real businesses on Main Street, doing the work of providing services and products to America and beyond. And so one of the ways that we are working together to help childcare owners is through a process of creating what you call kind of your calling card is short, helpful books, i.e. Shooks. So talk a little bit about a Shook and how you've developed it into a tool. It's a real tool for Main Street business owners to get more clients and elevate themselves and their brands.
Yeah. So again, I kind of try to practice what I preach. So we all need to be different than our competition. There's a lot of people out there that help other people publish books, et cetera. So I came up with our own brand, if you will, of book, a Shook, it stands for short, helpful book. And the differentiation, Chris, and I think it's what attracted you to this opportunity is, first of all, Shooks are direct response books. They're designed, they've been created by me, a direct response marketing expert. So they contain calls to action. They look a little different. You can see some of our childcare members are here in the background. I had to put that up on the wall there to see some of our members' Shooks, but they're a little different size. They're designed a bit differently. They're designed to be very readable. So these are all things that a marketing geek like me worry about. And they're all part of a Shook. Everything is well thought out, very designed by intention. And that's really, Chris, what differentiates. They're nonfiction, and they're very hyper-focused, and they allow the reader to know what that next step is very quickly and simply. So in a nutshell, and the other key thing, Chris, is they're designed to be read in about an hour, which is really key. I don't know about you. I know I start books these days and they're 400 pages and I get bogged down. And a Shook is designed to be read in about an hour. So it gives the reader the opportunity to finish it and then hopefully take that next step.
Love that. And the other thing that it does, I think almost all the time, is it solves a key problem, concern, or pain point that your prospect has, right? So we created one for the childcare industry called Choosing a Childcare Center, which is a specific Shook.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Donna.
Hey, Donna. Donna and her hubby, Jeff, and their grandkids on the cover. And really designed to help parents and caregivers, grandparents, et cetera, people that are making decisions about childcare, to make the best decision for their children that they can, because a childcare decision is actually can be fraught with guilt, uncertainty, fear, and just lack of knowledge. And so we want to empower those parents and empower our clients and prospects to make the best decision. So this Shook was created just for that. And we have different versions for different types of programs. So we kind of, tiered it out across different types of schools, like Montessori versus traditional, et cetera. So talk a little bit about, before we dive into the childcare Shook, give us some examples of other kinds of businesses you've worked with that have had results with these kinds of books. Because I know you serve a lot of different kinds of Main Street businesses.
We do. I mean, Chris, everyone from dentists, lawyers, accountants, coaches and consultants, software developers, retailers. I mean, you name it. We haven't done any like restaurant owners yet. So, maybe if Giada's listening to this and she wants to do a Shook for her Vegas restaurant, we thought about going there. We didn't get there.
Yeah.
But it's really for businesses that, whether they're constantly, saying the same things over and over to prospects where it makes sense to put it in a book format, or maybe it's a little bit more complicated, or, people are just seeking information. So that's why, for childcare, it's just such a valid tool. It's such a critical tool, in our opinion, because you're right. I mean, parents, caregivers, there's a lot of stress, worry. Are they making the right decisions? And as you and I taught in Vegas, I believe, one of the things that these prospective clients are looking for, one, is peace of mind, right? And in my opinion, a properly designed book, a properly written book, can really go a long way to creating that peace of mind, creating that trust, bringing down the stress level, and really positioning the person whose name's on the cover as the authority. So, but yeah, we've helped a lot of different, very traditional business owners, and our results, speak for themselves.
Yeah. So the power of books is real. And I just want everybody listening to know, I've written 4 books myself, plus co-authored one. And they really, and I always tell this, Mike, is that being a book author is one of the 3 things that has changed my life the most. And because we are kind of pre-programmed as human beings to see value and amazingness with books. Like book authors, we're always like we have that celebrity starstruck moment with a book author. And so that can transfer and does transfer to anyone that does this program. And it's it's like a calling card that opens doors, but it's way better than just a business card. It's an actual book that has value, and people will want to work with you just by the fact that you've got your name on the cover of a book. I don't know why that's true. I mean, I do, but like the little subconscious things that go on.
Yes.
But I just know that it is a fact that it's
very real, Chris. I mean, you were kind enough to be one of the very first guests on my podcast almost 2 years ago, the Main Street Author Podcast, and you shared that story. And I only bring that up because recently, Chris, you'll find this interesting, I've had some 20-somethings as guests. Now, you have to be a book author to be a guest on my podcast. So I've had several 20-somethings, 24, 27. And I love it. I love seeing that younger crowd. But I always ask the question, like, wait, you're young. Why aren't you doing a digital book, or why aren't you doing some video? And, they're doing all that, but they still came back to the time-tested, proven, authority-building tool of being a published book author.
Right.
So I don't think that's going to change, Chris. I think all this other stuff, social media and some of this other stuff, can come and go. Having your name on a book and being able to hand someone a book and say, listen, I created this for you so that it helps you, very powerful.
Yeah, completely agree. So let's talk about the Choosing a Childcare Center Shook and why it's been an awesome project. So far, we've had dozens of folks come into the program. We got a bunch of new folks coming in off of the summit. We're really excited. So tell just a little bit about the program, and then I want to ask you some questions about book authorship and things of a related nature. But tell us a little bit more about this Shook. How long is it? You said it was a quick read. What is it? What's some of the content that it contains?
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, first of all, it took our collaborative effort and your team, my team, over a year. Now that was sort of during the pandemic, so things sort of got a little waylaid, but still, this took us time. I mean, you and I are smart marketers. This is the kind of book that any childcare center would love to write if they had the time and expertise that you and I brought to the table. So it took us time. You had to vet it. You had a lot of people reading it to make sure it's good. But yeah, it's 104 pages, so it's a real book. It's something you can be proud of. Super high quality, and it as you mentioned, it is flavored for different types of school: Montessori, Spanish immersion, faith-based, play-based. And what we designed, Chris, here is a book where the guts of the book, the stuff that we're teaching, which are essentially the 7 criteria for choosing a childcare center, whether you're a parent or a caregiver. So that is sort of the meat of which we built the book around, the Shook Around. But then we allow your members and our clients who are part of this program to personalize it. So this is not just something that is like a standard, everyone has the same thing. It can be personalized. So we give all these different areas of personalization in the book. You can put your logo, your photo, obviously your name, all these different areas where it now goes from being sort of a generic book to being your book. And we make it really drop dead simple. But again, I think the big key takeaway of how we design this is it's designed for prospective parents, caregivers who are seeking out information. It's designed to help them. I shared a concept I call helping before selling. I mean, most child care center owners are teachers, educators. So this concept of they want to help is important to them. But it also does a lot of that subtle behind the scenes stuff, Chris. When you hand someone your book, maybe sign it for them, write a little note on it. They may not articulate, but in their head, they're thinking, wow, this is different. This is somebody, special. This is somebody. And I just think it changes the game. They may not, articulate that, but you're right. Subliminally, subconsciously, it changes the game.
Yeah. And we're helping people with a marketing toolkit for how to leverage and utilize their book in their marketing funnel. So what are some of the main ways that our clients are using the book?
It's a great question. So I would say there are a couple that I constantly teach. Some of our members are already doing, other members, are just getting into it. One of the key strategies, and we heard from someone from Stage at the event, so maybe you want to even allude to that, but at your event last week, someone said, Michelle said how she's sharing her book, and I think it was a local hospital, if I remember correctly. And when she told me that, I was like, Michelle's like a superstar. But sharing and giving your copies, giving physical copies that other businesses can either give out on your behalf or display on your behalf. I'm not sure if it was Michelle or someone else was saying they were giving him to a real estate friend, a real estate agent friend, and she was distributing as part of a new, a welcome gift, welcome to the neighborhood gift.
Right.
So sharing the book with I call them strategic partnerships, other businesses that have your prospective parents and caregivers in front of them. It's very smart, Chris. Sharing them with your team. Allowing your team members to give them out to friends and family, very smart. Sharing them with your current clients and saying, listen, the best way we can grow is referrals. Here's a simple tool. So those are some things, putting them on your website. Kim Palmieri's right away, as soon as she got her stuff, right up on her website as a lead generation device. Opt in, I'll send you my book. So those are some quick ways that we're teaching some of your members, how to use these. I don't know if anyone's done direct mail yet. I know Michelle's done a press release and an ad and all that. So we give them a lot of different tools where they can now that they are a book author, they can leverage it.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and Michelle even showed off she got some local media coverage. With her book in the article as well. So that's amazing. And that will also bring you employee candidates as well, guys. So I know that you're right now in today's climate concerned about more about the hiring than the enrollment, but they really do go hand in hand. And this book can set you up as an authority and a local celebrity of sorts in your market that will attract more staff as well as families to enroll. So what about the concern of using a book that I didn't write? Isn't that kind of like, I don't know, is it false advertising that I'm marketing myself as an author when I didn't actually write all the content or the content?
Interestingly enough, Chris, we've heard that a couple times. A couple people asked me that in Vegas. So listen, there's a lot to unpack there. I don't have enough time, but let me just share a couple things. I mean, yes, you're right. You didn't write dot every I, cross every T, write every word. Okay. Yeah. The experts did that on your behalf, but that to me is not a reason to get concerned. I mean, Chris, you and I both know in the nonfiction business-oriented book world, ghostwriting is a very common. I mean, all these books that people are reading that are New York Times bestsellers, there's a high probability, a good number of them were not, quote, written by the person whose name's on the cover. Ghostwriting is very common. It's not something to be shy away from. I mean, listen, most business owners hire web designers, copywriters, marketing experts, to do work on their behalf. They're creating content. They're creating stuff that's on, that people are seeing and interacting with. The childcare center owner didn't do it. They hired someone. So I would just say, if you get stuck there, that's something you have to work through. I mean, you and I have given an opportunity where if someone is really stuck on that, they can be a co-author with you, right? So we give an option where they can actually, instead of claiming authorship, they're a co-author with Chris Murray.
Right.
But I would just challenge anyone who thinks that way. Here's the biggest issue, Chris. There are people in your community who want this information, the information in this book. They want it. And if you're going to keep it from them because of your own sort of head trash, then they're not going to ever get it. And they're going to look elsewhere or they're going to go elsewhere. So, I mean, this is about helping other people. And whether or not you wrote every word to this book, I mean, we give you lots of places to personalize it, so you don't have to worry about that. But they want it. And by you not doing it, you're really keeping them from having it.
Right. You're kind of being of disservice to your community.
Disservice, yeah.
In a way. So think about it like that. And yeah, definitely opportunity to co-author it with me as well. And my team did the bulk of the writing. So experts in childcare that are on my team, by the way, in case you guys were wondering who did the writing. We spent several months putting together these key qualities that basically represent high quality childcare and a high quality program. So that's what's inside, and that's what you stand to gain. And so many more, an elevated level of influence in your market, an elevated level of full enrollment, another tool in your toolkit to get your name and your brand out in the community via pediatricians' offices. I love the realtor strategy because new families are moving into the area all the time. So having a relationship with the key go-getter realtors in your town is a great strategy regardless. And I love all of that. So thanks so much, Mike, for giving so many meaty tips today. Is there anything else that you wanted to share before we kind of give people the next step if they want to learn more?
Yeah, I mean, I think the other big takeaway, Chris, is this is fast, right? I remember you sharing how long it took you to write your first book.
Yeah.
This program that we put together, I mean, it's measured in hours to complete. So this is not weeks, months, years to do this. Literally hours, and literally like a few hours, because again, we've made it so simple for them. So that's a key thing. My team walks you through it's very simple. So far everyone's just loved. They thought it was going to be difficult, and they found out how just simple it is. And Chris, listen, someone's listening to this. Honestly, they could have their paperback copies in their center within a month of listening to this. It's that fast. So fast and simple is like the last thing I'd want to say about this. And the other thing we should say is we're actually including a second shook It's meant to be a little gift shook, which I know I've already heard from some of your members. It's called the Magic of Gratitude. And that was designed just to be a little thank you gift. Again, I don't recall who said it to me, but they've already want to order more copies because they've given them out to all their families and parents, just as a little thank you gift.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've thought of it all.
I love it. And a great strategy to give them an enrollment gift. You can use it on your tours, and then you could also use the Magic of Gratitude when they do enroll. You could give them a child backpack with all sorts of fun things in there, including your book. So just an amazing tool. And yeah, in just a handful of days, versus it took me a year working with a publisher to get my first book done, at least probably a year and a half. And then it took me about 5 months to get my second book done. And so this is really, very, very fast and painless and done for you. So jump on in. So if you're interested, where should folks go to learn more?
So Chris, mainstreetauthor.com/childcare. Real simple, mainstreetauthor.com/childcare. We'll have a video you can watch if you want more information from you and I. There is an agreement. It is a license, so you can download that, go through it. So that will be sort of home central for anybody who's watching, listening to this, and wants to be a part of this. But like you said, we have a number of our Academy members that are already doing it. It is area exclusive. We didn't mention that. So this is a good opportunity to lock out your competition. They're not going to get this tool once you join the program.
Yeah. So you guys will have a competitive lockout. So we protect you from having the same type of book as a center down the street. And so you'll get that area exclusive radius, competitive lockout along with your license. And go to mainstreetauthor.com/childcare to learn more. Mike, thank you so much for taking the time today with us to talk about the power and magic of books and book authorship. I absolutely love it. Being one, and you've written, how many books have you written anyway?
I think we're up to like 15, but they're short, Chris. That's the beauty of it.
They're short, helpful books.
Right.
I love it. Thank you so much, Mike. And I can't wait to serve more child care center owners with this opportunity and this amazing book and help them get more leads and clients and employees. So thanks so much for being here.
Chris, thank you. And as I've said over and over again, if someone's new to your world, you are the real deal. You're a class woman, everyone on your team. I just can't say enough good stuff about you and your team. So it's awesome how you're serving this community. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. We are very blessed with the work we do. It's a very fulfilling job that I have in this world. So pretty psyched.
Yes.
And thanks so much. And thanks everybody for tuning in to this episode 113 of Childcare Rockstar Radio. Take care and God bless. And we'll see you next time.